Hello, fellow patriots. This is Just Jess with 11th Hour Industries, and right now we've got a bunch of stuff going on, and Twitter is currently down, and then it came back up, but it's still saying it's overloaded, and you're not able to comment on any posts, or at least I'm not. This wouldn't be the first time I was censored or blocked or disabled, because my Facebook page that I've had since 2006 is completely gone. And everything I had on it that was my personal page is gone. And I was never in Facebook jail. I was never given any warning about, not complying with their rules. And it just kind of came out of the blue. And really what it comes down to is that my husband and I decided to open up a page called The 11th Hour. And it was basically a page for truth seekers to come to and to exchange information, ideas, and just have conversations, which is our First Amendment right, is free speech, and that's what we were doing. And we were gaining followers by the hundreds, by the hour, and we had amassed a pretty large following. And basically what we were doing is we were gathering information and we were presenting it. We were not giving anybody ideas. We were not telling people to think any kind of way. We actually explicitly stated, do not post anything related to Q. We don't want anybody getting banned. And immediately, within days of our page being mobilized, not only was our page shut down, but we were completely blocked for good. Like, can't appeal it, can't do anything, no matter what. All of my pictures, all of my family members, everything that I have connected around the world, all of our contacts is gone. And for a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, you don't have a right to be on Facebook, or you don't have a right, and all of these things, or it's not that big of a deal, it's just Facebook. Well, I mean, it kind of is a big deal, because that's where a lot of information is being shared. And right now we are currently in a major political groundbreaking event. We've got the election on November 3rd, which is coming up. Today's date is what, the 15th? So I mean, it's coming fast. And all of these stories are breaking, and people aren't allowed to share the links. I mean, it's just crazy. And it seems like big tech, Silicon Valley, is being protected. And they are using the 203 from the Securities Act as a barrier for not being held responsible. And they're trying to say that they're doing the right thing by fact checking it. Well, it's funny, because some of these sources are coming out that they are actually being paid by, not so reputable places. And Snopes, I mean, who gave them accreditation to be able to fact check things? I mean, they're not biased at all. I mean, why would they be? And it's perplexing that, if you're against Trump and you're posting anti-Trump things, you're allowed to free speech. You are allowed to share anything. You can share any kind of meme you want. You can say whatever you want. You can wish death upon the president. You can share pictures with the president's head cut off, and that's completely fine. But you, 1 minute, start sharing posts that go against Biden, and all of a sudden, that's not allowed anymore, and you're censored, and you're blocked, and all of a sudden, you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, I don't think asking for the truth is a conspiracy theory. I think it's searching for the truth. And that's what a lot of people want. They want the truth. They're tired of being lied to. There was reports that QAnon started the child trafficking movement. I'm sorry, but I was an avid child trafficking supporter, and getting all of the information out there. I went to Operation Underground. I got my certification. I've been doing background research, and yet somehow trying to fight child trafficking is somehow related to a conspiracy group, because that's not happening. I mean, there's not statistical data out there, and there's not proven things out there that show child trafficking is very real. Not only is child trafficking very real, but human trafficking is very real. Why are people being trafficked? Organ harvesting, sex trafficking, forced labor. I mean, you name it, and it is definitely out there. and nobody seems to care about it. Well, I mean, there are people that care about it, but the ones that start sharing a lot of information and start getting a lot of response and feedback, well, they're blocked and they're shut down, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so yesterday, we've seen a really big influx of people being shut down. I mean, the press secretary was blocked out of Twitter. I mean, for sharing an article from the New York Times. But yet, not that long ago, when they shared Trump's taxes that were illegally gotten, that was completely fine. From the same magazine, or the same news source, shall I say, not magazine, but from the same exact distributor. And that was completely fine. Now, the Hunter Biden laptop was obtained legally because he was probably too drugged out to remember he even brought it there. And a whistleblower turned it in because he didn't like what he's seen on it. And he actually did the right thing instead of just going straight to a media outlet and actually turned it over to the FBI, who sat on it since December of 2019. Isn't that funny? Well, let's get back to the whole Twitter censoring thing in Section 203. So they're thinking that they're just can skate by, that nothing's going to happen to them because, you know, they're covered. Well, I mean, free speech is free speech, and maybe they shouldn't be held liable for someone sharing like a meme or a post, but they shouldn't have free reign to just decide what they think is a fact, because the reality is they are obviously extremely politically motivated in what they're censoring. They're not just censoring all kinds of stuff. It's only anything to do with damaging information towards Biden. And that's a fact. I mean, when the press secretary for the United States government, for the president of the United States that was duly elected, the people spoke, when she gets shut out and forced to delete comments, I mean, are we in 5th grade? I mean, like, seriously, are we in 5th grade? I have to sit here and I have to tolerate listening to propaganda and misinformation spread every single day of the week. And you know what? I deal with it because I'm a big girl and I put my big girl panties on in the morning. And I understand that if I don't like something, I move on from it. And if I find it very troublesome, I do some digging. And then I spread the information with my opinion. And that's that. I mean, I posted a picture of a rally and I got throttled by the left with, oh my God, they don't have a mask on. Yeah, it's 95 degrees outside in Florida. Yep, I don't have a mask on. It was hot, and having a mask on in 95 degree weather while you're standing outside sweating is a terrible idea. And there's nothing, I mean, they say that if you're working out, this is what the CDC says, if you're working out, you should not have a mask on because the sweat can start collecting inside of your mask and it can cause bad things to happen. So what is the realization in comparison? If you're working out and you're sweating, you shouldn't be wearing a mask. But if you're standing outside in 95 degree weather, you should be wearing a mask? I mean, the same CDC that said masks won't help with smoke inhalation, but the particles are bigger than the particles from the COVID-19 virus, but it works for the COVID-19 virus, even though it says directly on the mask that it doesn't help at all with the COVID-19. And you know, I don't bash people if they want to wear a mask and that makes them feel safe. You know, I do everything I can to keep myself and my family healthy. We've worked through the entire pandemic and we haven't gotten sick. And probably we're lucky. You know, maybe we've done some things that have helped us not get sick. You know, maybe we took the proper precautions, you know, staying away from super large groups and washing our hands and using hand sanitizer when necessary. And, you know, the precautions that people take. You know, I take airborne, I do a lot of aminos and stuff like that. So, you know, I feel like that helps with being healthy. I also don't eat processed foods, which has a lot of ingredients that are very bad for you. You know, we work out regularly so we keep our immune system up and healthy. And it's kind of funny because our laws down here, when they reopened our gyms, did not have a mask mandate. So everybody that was going to the gym and working out in the same spot never got sick. Ever. Not a single solitary person that we've worked out with for the past 6 months has gotten sick. Not any of them. Not even a sniffle. It's crazy. So we're going to move on to something bigger. And this has been bugging me. And, this isn't anything to do with Trump, even though he's involved. And this has nothing to do necessarily with Biden, even though, he's kind of involved. It has to do with the fact that our government agencies completely and explicitly overstepped their boundaries. Not only did they overstep their boundaries, they lied. We had the FBI, the director of the FBI, James Comey, completely lie on a FISA application. I think they said that there was 17 errors found on that FISA warrant. This all goes back to how much we allow individuals to get away with. Because after all, Silicon Valley, they're made up of people. Just like the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, all of them, they're all people. They're all people controlling what happens in people's lives. Now, I want to go over what the FISA court is and what it's used for. Okay. I'm going to read off of my computer really quick so that way I can read it directly from, and there's no the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978, a United States federal law that establishes procedures for the physical and electronic surveillance and collection of foreign intelligence information between foreign powers and agents of foreign powers suspected of espionage and terrorism. Now, getting a FISA warrant is a pretty big deal. Well, it should be a big deal because that means that not only can they, if they get a FISA warrant, let's say they got a FISA warrant for me, they could also now physically, electronically surveil people I'm in contact with. And I believe they said it's a 3-jump rule. So basically, if I contact one person, they can jump 3 times beyond that person. So that means that anybody you come in contact with, whether it has anything to do with what they're looking for, they have every right to just dig through your life. And from the FISA warrant that was actually filed, it was all lies. And James Comey sat in front of many people and said, I just signed the front page. I had no idea what was in it. You mean to tell me the director of the FBI had no idea what his agents were doing? And that doesn't scare anyone? I mean, they took down a 3-star general and spied on a sitting president. But that doesn't worry anybody. But now people are panicking because Twitter has censored articles. Something's not right here, guys. It's just not right. I've been trying to figure out the best way to approach this situation, without sounding like I'm just pro-Trump and, against Biden. Really, right now, what I'm really pissed about is the fact that the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, they all lied through their teeth. They changed emails, fabricated documents, submitted it to a court, got the warrants renewed, and nothing was done to them. I think one person, the lawyer that altered the email, is the only person being held accountable. And nobody is really talking about that. And, you know, I was watching the documentary, the Take Down the President documentary, and they described this the best way it could be possibly put into terms. Okay. So they basically said, this is like you're being sued and you're not allowed to get a lawyer. You're not allowed to know who's doing it. You're not allowed to see any of the evidence. You're not allowed to call any witnesses to defend yourself. You're not even allowed to make a statement, and you're found guilty. That's scary. The highest of governments. The highest of governments. People that we trust with our national security are doing this to citizens of the United States. And the fact of the matter is, they had nothing. There was nothing that they had for this to happen. Their errors were so egregious that the FISA court doesn't even want to deal with the FBI at all. Period. End of story. Like, they abused their power so significantly, the FISA court said no more. Because it wasn't just the FISA application against Trump and his associates. They said every single solitary FISA warrant application, there was something wrong with it. Now tell me, if you lied to a court, not only did you lie to a court, but you signed paperwork to a court and submitted it as evidence, what do you think would happen to you? I know General Flynn's being dragged through hell right now because he was set up and made to believe he lied, and then they threatened his kid, and so they made him plead guilty. And I mean, Judge Sullivan's still making him go through this terror process, is what I call it. Information warfare. Judge Sullivan's sitting on this, and he's not releasing Flynn, even though everything about it was corrupt. Now, if anybody, regular citizens, did that, they'd be sitting in prison, probably for life. They'd probably be charged with espionage or treason or any number of crimes. I mean, like, how were people not concerned about this? How are people just not talking about it? I mean, like, it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Like, the government can make up that you're talking to foreign officials, and they can make it seem like you're doing something wrong when you're not. And then they can force you to plead guilty to something. Something doesn't smell right, guys. Something is wrong. And everybody should be talking about this. We should be talking to our senators. We should be talking to our government officials, local, state, federal. We should be demanding answers to this, not letting James Comey sit there and give his opinion on people being able to be blackmailed, because he did worse. He did worse. He took information that was paid for by an opposing party, the Democratic. The Democrats paid a Russian spy for information on collusion. Come on, guys. We gotta wake up. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow to think that your government could literally ruin your life and take everything you have from you when you did nothing wrong. I mean, we're seeing it in real time. It's almost like they're testing us. Like, well, you had all of this since 2006, but you know what? I don't like the fact that you're telling the truth. So you know what? I'm going to take all of your stuff from you, and there isn't a damn thing you can do about it. That's where I'm at, guys. So I'm signing out. This is Just Jess with 11th Hour Industries, Inc. And if you like what you see, hit the like button, hit subscribe. We'll be making more videos. You know, we're new to this YouTube thing. We're new to every other channel besides Facebook because, to be honest, you know, I never felt a need to. But the fact that we've been blackballed for speaking the truth, not spreading conspiracy theories, but literally just saying the truth about things, got us banned. And who knows how long our channel will be up once we start speaking the truth and making videos. Because we're not going to be quiet. We're digital soldiers. We are patriots. It's our duty to hold the government accountable for what they're doing. They work for us. They're paid with our tax dollars. I work my ass off every day so they can sit cushy in an office. It's about time they start doing something. Because I'm sorry, if Nancy Pelosi can afford a $23,000 refrigerator for her ice cream, she better be doing something more than just complaining and trying to impeach a president with fake evidence. This is Jessica signing out.